would be
Hey, it's Henry!
Hi everyone, welcome to an episode of What's Up Mainframe, where we get to talk with a very important stakeholder in any organization, and especially to our development teams, an engineering manager. It's a little bit of Halloween in here, and some engineers may go, oh, engineering managers, they hover around like some ghoulish spirit or something. But we're here to find out the truth. What does an engineering manager do in Broadcom? And how do they play kind of a unique role connecting teams with customers even? So welcome, Alex Goncharenko.
Thank you.
Alex, you're one of the more recent engineering managers to join, and you came from the distributed space.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your experience in the distributed side of things.
Yeah. So I come after spending many years in application security,
Okay.
and now 4 years in Broadcom. So not that recent.
So not that recent, but there's
Yeah.
often a long history that people bring into things. So application security, and then Broadcom and Mainframe.
Among all things. Yeah.
What were some of the surprising aspects of coming into the Mainframe space, or things that you didn't expect?
The amount of modern development going on
Okay.
and the tools used.
Okay. In the sense that there were more modern tools being used than you expected there to be.
I wouldn't expect Node.js on the mainframe, but here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about people? I'm curious. Are developers fundamentally different in the distributed space than in the mainframe?
No,
No?
they're not.
The personas are the same.
Personas are the same.
They love cats,
Yeah. Spiders sometimes.
spiders sometimes, a lot of flannel. Okay. So people, not so much. Tooling, you're pleasantly surprised then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been really working on that as one of your many responsibilities as an engineering manager.
On tooling, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
on improving the tools and improving the development experience.
Okay. What do you do with the development teams? What are some of your primary goals or responsibilities that you see?
Yeah. Well, first one is making sure that the job is done.
Yeah.
In order to achieve that, of course, I personally see it as a primary goal of any manager, to remove the roadblocks, to, I wouldn't say make developers' life easier. Sometimes we do complicate, intentionally or not.
We have that on camera now.
No problem with that. But at the same time, we need to make sure that they have all the means, all the tools to make their job, well, doable and effective.
Yes.
So yeah, that's that.
Definitely. Yeah. So get the job done in the best way that they can.
Absolutely.
Facilitate that. And what about tooling? How do you, I mean, obviously teams are kind of invited to try different things. What's your role in maybe helping with using internal tooling for some of the work that they do, or bringing in new products?
Bringing in products, bringing in options is part of the job. I wouldn't say I decide what they use. Well, I do to some extent, but it's also important that team has a say in what they're using because, well, they are going to use it at the end of the day. I see my job more in facilitating the process, making sure that they have all the options laid out, they can evaluate them normally, they have a say in that decision, and, well, we can hear that.
Definitely. Definitely. And this is kind of at the team level, but I also understand that a big part of your role is sort of managing the organizational expectations and kind of bringing them to the team.
You mean like regulations, compliance, this kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And so what I'm curious about is obviously, so you're working with teams on making sure they can get their job done, they have the right tooling, they have an understanding of the expectations within the organization and other stakeholders. You also work on the workshop environments quite a lot.
My favorite pet project.
Your favorite pet project, yeah. No, it's a phenomenal thing, right? Because it's
exciting.
Working with our customers' teams to sort of understand. So we've had a number of people on the show to talk about the general setup of the workshops, their availability, et cetera. But what has your experience been interacting with the people that do workshops and come away with, hey, I kind of want to get started with this? what are some of the suggestions you have from that experience, and what are some of the steps you've seen them take?
Well, first of all, I definitely suggest people to take workshops to have this experience, because adoption of a new product in any team is a major investment. Sometimes even a small tool can mean some changes, some significant changes for the team. And in order to make it smoother, it's really nice to try it and see if you like actually driving this car. You're not doing major investments in your life without trying them as much as you can, right?
Exactly.
So that only makes sense in case of software development as well. Also, I would suggest if you do decide to take this experience and go through the workshop, not just bring the decision makers, bring the team as well. Luckily, the capacity of our environment allows that, and we can definitely do that, and we've seen it before. And experience is such that when developer teams are brought into this experience, it also smoothens the adoption of the products. Because not only you, but your team also not starting from scratch. They have some idea, they have some expectations set, and there's less of resistance even, because they know what to expect.
Yeah. You don't want them to sort of resent kind of the process or the tooling because they didn't get to try it early on.
Yeah. So it's some invention, someone else made a decision. They just brought this upon them. They take it better when they have a chance to try. And say something, because feedback is also very important, because during the workshop they can have, and they are actually encouraged to give feedback, and that feedback is taken seriously and can be implemented even before the adoption happens.
Definitely.
And if we talk about the journey, the common journey we see is that people take workshop, get interested in the technology, start some sort of conversation, and the conversation, as I said, they become way more meaningful. So, okay, I've seen the flow which Broadcom suggests. I've seen how it can be done on a happy path.
Yes.
I have something different. How do I do that? That triggers way more meaningful conversations. And when all this brews and it comes to adoption, then we bring more and more stakeholders, and we go through this journey and have really nice setup and data.
Yeah.
So that's the path I see.
Oh, and there's quite a nexus too between what you're doing with our internal development teams and then what people experience in the workshops, because as they go from that happy path to what you described as the more complicated, hey, our environment is such, that's where we bring in our real team experience and say, well, we've kind of set things up in such a way that pulls these elements all together.
Yeah, because when it comes to distributed world, the options are plenty, and our tools also represent that very much. They are versatile. They allow all different kind of setups, and if people don't have baseline, they have a lot of questions. What's the best way of doing this? Well, you can do it anyway. Well, show me one way.
Yes.
And that's what workshops allow. They show how, and another important thing to mention is that workshop environments and workshops as scenarios, they're set up really close to how we do it in Broadcom.
Yes.
So that pretty much answered the question of how your teams do it. That's how.
Yep, exactly. And so obviously with the workshops, but you've also had some on-site engagements with customers who had already done the workshops and then were kind of keen on, well, what actually went into that setup? So can you give a concrete example of one such first configuration step that someone might take with regard to VS Code, for example?
Yeah, good example, I think, would be...
Hey, it's Henry!
Almost.
Ghoulish.
So,
VS Code. We're in orange and black theme in VS Code. So what can you do as a configuration step?
in VS Code, you can do anything.
You can.
That's the beauty of it. But back to the example. Example would be automation around the workshop environment we have. Because in order to ensure the smooth experience for customers participating in workshops. We have quite a significant amount of automation implemented, so it's really easy to roll out the environments, it's really easy to set up the products. And it actually resonates with developer experience very, very well, because we use the same tooling which developers use. For example, command line, for example, VS Code profiles. So we have all these things pre-set up. So while going through the workshop and after the workshop, we had discussions with customers about how they can automate, how they can simplify the deployment of developer profiles to ensure that newcomer in the team is getting the same things everybody else does. And they can look into it, have an idea how it can be set up, how it can be implemented, and implement in their shop.
And it's a beautiful thing too, because it's really easy to just, if there's a new extension setting that will be of benefit to the whole team, then you just have that run through the pipeline, and then it gets sent out to all the respective. Do it once. And then everybody can take advantage of it.
And you also don't have to have the same level of experience in your team. You can have some limited amount of people to go through the initial phase of adoption, understand what's going on, implement it for the whole team, and then explain based on example which is relevant to your exact company, your exact setup, which is pretty awesome.
That's fantastic. So I want to kind of come back to the beginning, where you mentioned that one of your primary responsibilities is removing hurdles within the development team. Can you give some general examples of recent hurdles that engineering teams have faced internally?
Change of tools.
Change of tools, yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yep.
Because of vulnerabilities found, strategy change, development world is changing too. And new approaches require new tools, so that happens all the time.
Yep. And how do we mitigate those? Or how are the teams dealing with those?
Automation,
right? It's a leading...
Standards, automation, unification, simplicity.
Yeah.
The less of different solutions, different custom approaches are implemented, the easier the switch is. When you just need to switch one component, is way easier than you need to switch like the whole chain of things which are interacting with each other in a very complicated way.
Yeah.
The simpler, the better.
Definitely. No, I'll admit that was a bit of a leading question, because, ultimately, and why we're grateful to have you here as you talk through, right, bringing our engineering team's experience with customers' experiences, we're all ultimately facing the same kind of issues.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say exactly the same.
Exactly the same, right? And our goal is, to help introduce a new developer experience, for example, around Code for Z, and that's what our workshop environments show. But ultimately, it's about enabling people to have a consistent experience, working experience for their dev teams that is automated, so that if any changes come up, they have to make one change and it gets propagated to everyone.
Sure. Yeah. And that's another thing which I really like about this whole workshop initiative, is that it allows our engineers to actually share their experience with customers in a very convenient fashion.
Exactly.
Because the whole project started with just 2 engineers, and now it involves a lot of talented people who just contribute to the project and share the experience, express themselves, and do amazing things.
Definitely. So I think the big takeaway from this is try the workshops, but link in description, but don't hesitate to ask about what's really inside of the workshops, and ask people like Alex and the engineers working on that project how you take the experience there and roll it out in your organizations.
And take it to the next level.
And people will have the chance to see you at a number of upcoming conferences.
Yeah. GS UK.
Excellent.
Next gig.
GS UK. Check out the workshops, meet Alex. Otherwise, stay tuned for further episodes. We're going to get more of the developers to share what they've been doing in their respective projects.